Sunday night of the week.
So those trips are fantastic. I've been on 4 of them, and Pete's been on more than that. Life changer. Great stuff. One other thing that is potentially perking along is we're maybe chip in and help send a container ship of wheelchairs to, I believe, Mexico. So we have a budget of about $20,000, and we've already earmarked about 15 of that. So we're doing a pretty good job of spreading our love across the globe.
Carl, can you have Pete talk about the grant that they got for the power?
I'm also happy to report that we got our district grant for Gamoya School in the village power project. School, no power, so we get to provide power and help villagers also with this power. We're putting in 3,000, the district putting in 3,000, but we're getting a working relationship. We've done one international grant and now a district grant, and the more you do, the easier they are, and it's a really good deal. And when we come to you asking for donations to Rotary Foundation, and it's going all over. It's really a good deal.
So that kind of brings up the point where we're going to figure out how to either do a fundraiser or just flat ask people for some money after the first of the year to backfeed the foundation. We've taken a lot of money over the last few years out of the foundation. Basically, the only money we send to the foundation is a couple $1,000s for the golf tournament. So the idea is that we need to think outside of Sedro Woolley. I have a hard time doing that, but Carl and Teague do, and there's some other ones, Avery, Martin, and Sarah. There's a lot of people that are doing these international things, so we have to support them. And so we're going to come up with either a fundraiser or just a flat ask for after the first year to help the foundation so that we can continue to ask money from the foundation. Let's see, is there any other announcements? Yes.
So I'd like to tell you something that Joyce came out this week, meeting with Nathan from the city. So working on the next phase, which on our bikes release, we're going to do a complete kitchen remodel. February 1st, there won't be a kitchen in there. Basically, the city's going to come in and take it out. We have 1 month to complete the job. It'll be in cooperation with Nathan and his crew. We'll have a plan in place, and there will be times when we need some help. So I'll let everybody know well ahead of time. Thanks.
Okay, and then Carl, we forgot about the one thing where we were going to see if we could put a work party together for Friday, a week from tomorrow, or did you change your mind on that?
Which work party? I've got.
Put the foam or the cork board up.
Oh, really? Yeah, so Dan, can you and I do the, lead the effort to get the cork board up over the Thanksgiving weekend sometime?
So I came in here Monday night and worked, and I think Tim and I might be coming here Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday, this Saturday?
Possibly.
All right. If you confirm that, I'll show up, but you gotta confirm. All right.
Exactly. Good. I didn't want to announce it, so I don't know.
One more thing, Pat Renfeld gave us a request to buy a post for the Mount Baker Fire Mountain camp, and we're notionally going to buy 2 posts at $1,000 a piece to support the Janike shelter out there. All right? And so the board needs to vote on that, but that's the.
Is that what you had, Pat, or something else?
I was going to make this a happy buck, but instead I'll just have it right now. If you would like to do something pleasurable before you do all of these work projects, you either next Friday, a week from tomorrow, or Sunday, you can go to Festival of Trees at the Skagit Center, which is Christ the King in Burlington. It's always an absolute fantastic event. I know many of you have already been to the gala where you pay money and you have an evening, and that's the night that all the trees are auctioned. Well, that is sold out. There's quite a waiting list for that. The other thing that's sold out is the children's breakfast, which is Friday morning. That is so popular now that it sells out almost immediately. But for $5, you can take guests or at least enjoying all the reads. And it's limited hours, it's open about 4 hours on Friday. Anyway, I'll be at the door so you can look at this if you have any questions. Oh, and it supports the women's, they just built a new building in Sedro Valley Hospital. And I know you're in the United area up for the hospital so much, but they have just built a new women's imaging center, which also is for cancer treatment. And it also has a specialty location for men who unfortunately so often get pancreatic cancer. So that is probably going to be the last fundraiser that will be necessary for that project.
Okay, one last thing before we go to Sergeant of Arms. I want to thank Dan. He shows up with a case of wine, and he said, well, you know, it was in my cooler or whatever, and I says, I can guarantee you that the wine that Dan brings in is better than any of the wine I would have bought at Safeway. So it's probably some pretty good stuff. Thank you, Dan, for bringing it in, though. All right, anything else before we wait? You're on, Dean.
Get you ready for a raffle, all right. We have some wonderful prizes here, Dan. Like I said, we got white wine, beer, and the lovely wheel. So our first number,
Number 58.
number 58, 58. You got the wine or you got the wheel? The wine. Thanks, there you go. All right, next number 41. 41. Okay, next number. There we go. So we're done, Mike. Now,
Sergeant of Arms.
Sergeant at Arms. Well, last night I got to attend a Boys and Girls Club function. My boss invited me. He also got an award, but Connie put on the banquet. We're happy $5 for that. If anyone would like a meeting today, it's $2. So let's get that out now. Kyle, will you collect money back there? And all of you, will you collect money up there? If you're going for a meeting, get it out. $2 for a minute. $2 for a minute. So I'm gonna go back here to Phil McHale. Phil's always fun on the spot. Yeah, no, you're not, Phil. Actually, I want you to help me. So all of those who did not take immunity, raise your hand. Well, we just have a couple people over there. What do you think I can find those guys? How about three? Or we can find $3. So that way immunity is worth something, right? Next we'll do happy dollars. Anybody happy?
I have a happy 10. 2012, I had my right shoulder replaced. And coming back from a 1-month visit, we had a flat tire in my wife's car. And the instruction from the orthopedic surgeon was, do not pick up anything heavier than a copy. Try to replace the tire on the freeway without using your operated arm. It was a real interesting sight. September 19th, I had my left shoulder replaced. That's been I go out to get my wife's car for put the tabs on her car this morning, and she has a flat tire. Those are the only 2 flat tires my wife and I have ever had. And they were both within 2 months of having a shoulder replacement. I don't want to even think about what happens when I have my wife replaced.
Anybody else? Okay, Sandra?
Well, I'm just super happy that we have like almost an entire November team here today. And Daryl came in right at the last minute. And he brought flowers, which I wasn't expecting, so I was really worried what I was going to do with anniversaries. So it just really makes it seem like I'm uber prepared and I'm really running a tight ship here in November when I had no idea what I was doing.
I'm running the whole year that way, so don't worry.
I had a happy 20, I was gone for probably more than I expected the last couple of months, but things have been going right along in the business, and we're almost ready for the big announcement, so stay tuned. Anybody else? Okay.
Okay, so let's see, is there anything else before we have early leavers? I think we're at that point, early leavers, and then I'm going to introduce Dave Bricka. Dave Bricka is going to introduce the speaker, so at that point, is that right?
Yeah.
These people only know differently than me. Harold. So early leavers can leave now, and Dave. Get up. Hard enough being the president. I don't think you know. All right. Okay.
All right, we're excited to have representation from the Sedro Woolley YMCA. And I just want to note that one of the highlights of my year as president was when our club approved the line item of $125,000 contribution to the YMCA over a 5-year period of time. That's a significant contribution from our club, and it's one of the many things that we've done. So I have a soft spot for the YMCA always. So I'd like to introduce Dean Snyder. He's the CEO of the Skagit Valley YMCA. Dean was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and raised in Langley, British Columbia. He moved to the Skagit Valley in July of 2018. After a 30-year career in college athletics, and most recently as the director of athletics at Whitman College in Walla Walla, he now serves as the CEO of the Skagit Valley YMCA in Mount Vernon. His partner, Darlene Snyder, is an administrator at Watkins Community College. Together, they have 3 daughters, Madison, 28, Kennedy, 25, and Bailey, 23, who all live in Vancouver, British Columbia. So, Dean, we're happy to have you here, and I'd like you to come on up and introduce you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me here. Can you hear me? Am I speaking closely enough to this mic? I was warned that I needed to be close to it. It's really great to be here. Thank you for taking the time to be here. And as a fellow Rotarian, it's always great to join another group. I was here, I think it was 2 months ago when Ollie invited me here, and it was nice to be here then, and it's nice to be back. David mentioned the contribution that this club has made to the Y. I'm amazed. I stand in awe and in gratitude of the way this community came together to support itself and the people of this community. And your contribution to the Y is significant, yet it's only one of the many things you do to support this community. And I just want to say thank you. I don't think you can be thanked enough. And so really appreciate all you do for Skagit County, for your Sedro Woolley, for the Y, and what you're doing internationally. It's great to hear some of those things as well. So the Y, as you see from our cause here, we're about strengthening the foundations of community. That's what the Y is about. And from where I stand, community is all about relationships. And so let me tell you, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. And you heard a little bit about that. I've spent the last 30 years in college athletics, and it was a great, I really thoroughly enjoyed my career. I started in Canada coaching volleyball, men's volleyball in Canada. It was nice to meet Yulia. It's always nice to meet another Canadian, Yulia. And sometimes I say we're down here turning the U.S. into the 11th province, but I don't think that goes over well. Maybe that's not the truth. But nonetheless, I also coached volleyball at Western Washington University for 4 years, and then at Whitman College for another 11 before I took over as athletic director at the college. And I think that college athletics has just a fabulous opportunity to change lives, which is why I got into it, to help in personal growth. Young people find who they are, practice who they want to be, learn, try things, fail, get back up, try again, succeed. It's a great process, and I love to be involved in that. I found over my long career there, though, that the NCAA, if you were to call the NCAA a billion-dollar entertainment industry, there'd be a lot of data on which to make that claim. And over my last 7 to 10 years as an athletic director, I found that the thing that really gave me joy in my day was building community through the hospital foundation board that I served and was chair on for a while, through the hospital board itself, through the Visible Wall to Wall board that I was on, and another board that was a public and private collaboration serving the community. And I felt that that's where I really got my joy. And so when I saw this opportunity to come to the Y in Skagit Valley, that did a couple things. It brought me closer to our family. Our 3 daughters, they were born in Vancouver, and they moved back to Vancouver after we raised them in Walla Walla. To get closer to our family was just a real joy. But then also to be part of an organization that's about strengthening community. It just hit me that this is what I really enjoy in my day. This is where I find value, and this is a great opportunity to join an organization and a community that's done so much to build the community and the strength of this community. So it's just really a great pleasure to be here. We've been in the community now since June of 18, so about 18 months, and we're still getting to know folks, and we're loving it here. Although the Walla-Wallans would say that it always rains over here on the west side, we try not to tell them about these great days because we don't want everyone to move here, do we? Yeah, this is really God's country, and it's a real pleasure to be here. So the Y, I want to just kind of tell you a little bit what's going on at the Y. You know that we're into our new building, and that's been just a remarkable gift to this community, and a significant responsibility on our shoulders to make sure that we are a great steward of what the community has provided for us to operate on your behalf. And so that's the way I see that. Our mission is to create positive community change through relationships, empowering the mind, body, and spirit for all. We're open to everybody, and that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves in, that there's anyone in this community to be part of the Y. We have, in recent days, now that we're into the building, so the previous strategic plan of the Y was to get into the building while we're there. So we've gone through the last several months working with our board and with our staff at all levels to really find our new plan, what we are focusing on moving ahead. And that's really what I want to share with you today. So this mission statement really focuses in on what it is that we're about. So it focuses on positive community. It focuses on change. We're not trying to just be the way we are and the way we always are. We're trying to better ourselves, grow our community, and be ready for a future as it's changing. We're trying to do that through relationship and through empowering people. And that's what we're about. We're about youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. Those are our focus areas, so that's what we spend time thinking about. I highlighted a couple phrases under each of those titles. We invest in early learning youth and teen and young adults. Our Y is the largest provider of childcare in Skagit County right now. And still, the need is not being met, and we'll talk a little bit more about that and what our response is to that. We want to help improve our community's health and well-being. A lot of times people talk about the Y, and when they think about the Y, they're thinking about the gym and the pool, and we do have that, and those are methods of helping us, of helping people with their health and their well-being. But we're really more about that. We're promoting personal growth as well as part of our change. And we're well beyond just the swim and gym. We are also about social responsibility, giving back and positively impacting people's lives. I like to say this, leveraging the capabilities of our volunteers. And I brought with me Rosemary Albert. Rosemary, if we could stand for just a moment. Rosemary is our community engagement and volunteer coordinator at the Y. And so her job is specifically to build relationships within the community and connect people and help people find ways that they can give back. And as we access, and thanks Rosemary, as we access volunteers, members of our Y, other volunteers in the community to volunteer in Y programs, sure, but also to volunteer throughout the community at various places. And Rosemary's got lots of great stories about how that's going, about relationships that are being built, and ways that the Y and the community is serving itself through that method. But these are the three areas that we're about: youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. So as we've gone through this strategic planning session, we really focused in on what is it that we're about. We looked at some of our strategic strengths, how we're positioned, some of the things that we need to do. We went out to the community and asked questions about what do you as a community member think that the Y should be doing here? What are we currently doing that we could do better? What are we not doing that the Y could be doing? And we asked a lot of those questions of community leaders throughout the county. Our board was thoroughly engaged in that, as was our staff. And as we came back with those answers from the community, we came up with 4 strategic imperatives, things that we think we need to focus on moving forward. And those 4 things are ensuring sustainability. This Y has been part of this community since, I think it's 1911. It's been here a long, long time. And it's on our shoulders and our responsibility now that we're in this new facility to ensure that this Y can continue to serve Skagit County for another 100 plus years. And so ensuring sustainability is a major part of it. Engaging in a reflective practice. I think oftentimes organizations get going and doing what they do, and they think this is what we do, and we continue to do it. Well, we want to engage in more of a reflective practice. As we do what we do, we want to make sure we're continually reflecting on it. Is it continuing to meet the community need? Is there another way that this could be met? Is there someone else that we can partner with to do this differently or better? But to reflect on what we're doing as a normal way of our practice, and annually doing that so that we aren't just doing things because we've always done it that way, but rather that we're looking at what we do strategically moving forward and finding ways to continue to improve and making sure that we're doing what we say we are, building the foundation of the community. We're also here to ensure a sense of belonging for everyone. Everyone needs to belong. Some place to belong. I love the Rotary community, when you hear stories about how people connected and met, and it's building family, it's building community, it's a place where you can belong. And even for me, as I'm not a member of this Rotary, I'm in the Skagit Morning Club, I can come here because this is a Rotary and I feel like I belong here. And this is a good thing. The sense of belonging is an important thing. And the Y provides that throughout this county for people who don't otherwise have a place to belong or haven't found a place to belong yet. They can belong to the Y. And we need to make sure that that's possible and easy for them. And then we also think we need to grow our service footprint. We need to grow what we're doing in this county so that we're not simply stuck in one place or being thought of as just one location. But the Y has many locations through which we're serving our community. And we need to be open to opportunities to grow where the need is, not necessarily just bringing people to where we have facilities. So we want to grow our service footprint as well. And those are the 4 things that we really talked about. So let's talk about sustainability a little bit. The first point in the upper left, ensure our leadership, staff, and board, and community are representative of our community. So we want to make sure that at the Y, and this is a part of belonging as well, that if you come into the Y, you can kind of see yourself there. And so we want to make sure that our board and our staff is a reflection of the community that we exist in. this is an important sustainability thing, because if we don't reflect the community that we're part of, eventually we become irrelevant. We need to make sure that we reflect the people that live in this space, and that we're able to be here and serve them. We're, of course, promoting green living. Our new building is LEED certified, it's silver LEED certified, which is a lot more expensive to build LEED certified, but it's also far more sustainable in the long term. And that's one of the reasons we've done that. We're trying to promote that through programming and in other ways throughout, as we go on day to day. We also feel like we need to build a culture of philanthropy at our Y, that we're about giving back, and we're finding a way that we can give back. And philanthropy is love man, right? So how do we love man? How do we give back to our fellow man? And building that culture within our Y and serving that culture that does exist in this community, as we know. And then we're about engaging in other conversations to reduce duplication, making sure that we're connecting with people within the community, so that we aren't doing things that are being done really well by someone else, that we can make sure that, or if we can partner with someone to do something better. We need to have conversations broadly throughout the community to make sure that the services we provide, we can continue to do long term. Our reflective practice, we want to ensure that everything we do, we're reflecting upon. I've mentioned this already, but one of the ways we're going to do this is we're going to make sure every department that we have is going to reflect annually on what we do, but then every other year as well, we're going to be bringing in external eyes to be looking at what we do and to give us external input. Sometimes as you look at what you do, you don't know your own blind spots. And we're going to be working at finding those blind spots, seeking them out. And so you may have one of us coming to people in this community to say, what do we need to do better here? This is what we're doing. Can you take a look at what we're doing and give us your thoughts? And that's going to be an ongoing process that we will carry in every one of our departments. Sense of belonging. So the why we serve, we're going to start with our own staff. We serve, and I say serve because I think that's what an employer does. We serve our 210 employees at the Y. We're a very large employer. And it's important that we become a really good employer, a place that works with young employees, because we serve a lot of youth as employees. We become the first job for many young people. Lifeguards, an example, some of our front desk staff, people right out of college that are working in early learning. We're a landing place for many young staff in that area as well. We need to make sure that they understand what it means to work in a collaborative environment, and they can have high expectations of their employer, that we're going to serve their needs well as employees, and then we become a really good place to work. And a really good place to work is one where you feel like if you have something to say, you can say it. And if you have something to share, you can share it. If you need to be quiet, that's okay too. But we're going to take care of making sure that we are an inclusive workplace that includes everyone, where everyone can feel like they can bring out their best and be their best selves in the workplace. We also want to celebrate differences, cultural differences. And one thing I've noticed when moving to Skagit from Walla Walla is that there's a lot of cultural differences from one part of this county to the next. And there's pride in each section of this county. And I think that's fabulous. And it's celebrating those uniquenesses, yet at the same time bringing us together as one and the same. So celebrating our uniquenesses and our individual differences and respecting those things is a way of growing stronger as a whole community as well. Maybe it's my Canadian phrase that I like, but I like "Vive la différence." The differences between us all are really great things to celebrate, and it's a lot more interesting, for instance, if I get to hang out with a bunch of people who aren't exactly like me. And so I like to celebrate that. We should honor that within our law. I mentioned already building relationships between staff members and community members. We're going to be creating welcoming spaces throughout the facility, not just at Hoyt Road, but in our building spaces that we're serving here at our school. We're at Central School here at Sedro, making sure that feels welcoming. We've got several strategies of how to do that, but making sure that people can feel like they are at their home place. And then we're also expanding the family narrative. I actually had someone this morning who said to me, she's on a board that I serve on, and she said, do you guys have household memberships? And I said, well, that's what we call them. What do you mean? She says, well, it's not really our family. I just had my sister, her husband, and their child move in with us. And I said, oh, well, that is a family, in fact, and we call that, in our world, we call it a 3-adult household. And so we're expanding the family narrative. There's multiple ways that can be expanded. People live in community within their own homes now as well. One of my daughters lives with 5 of her greatest friends and from college. She considers that her family, along with our family. But family is a broad idea, and we want to make sure we're expanding that concept, making sure that whatever your family looks like is welcome at Y. So, and this brings us to the point where we're about growing our service footprint. And this is kind of our actions, some of our new actions moving forward as we look at what we do. So our childcare service, I mentioned this a little earlier. We've got early learning childcare in Mount Vernon, here in Sedro, in Burlington, down in Anacortes. We've got before and after school care as well. Most of what we do, almost exclusively, not quite, is licensed full-day child care, right? I asked our staff the other day, how can we consider our child care environment analogous to a financial profile, a financial portfolio. A diverse portfolio is going to be really safe. That's where you're going to meet most of your needs. It's going to weather the ups and downs of the market. It's going to have all sorts of different entry points that are easier for some than others. How can we diversify our childcare opportunities? And we've got several thoughts on that as we're looking for it. We haven't made any firm plans, but we're looking towards broadening out. Right now, we're doing all day. Let's just look at all day childcare, for instance. It's not inexpensive. In fact, there was a session just earlier this week on the rising cost of childcare. It was put on by the chambers, Burlington and Mount Vernon chambers, and over at Skagit Publishing. The rising cost is significant. It can cost a family beyond what their second income is to put children through childcare. It becomes really interesting, really, really difficult for families to afford. Yet at the same time, an organization like ours, we employ oftentimes what we might have to call working poor, people who are doing the job of serving our children and caring for our children and helping them learn. They oftentimes can't afford that very service that they're providing. So it's not necessarily the cost, but somehow the affordability of childcare. We have to address that. We have to address that as a community, not just the Skagit communities, but our state, the way that the federal, our national world is looking at childcare, looking at the cost of childcare versus the cost of not childcare. It can be significant. It's probably a lot less expensive for us to provide really high quality early learning than it is to let those children go unprepared to get to school. So broadening that out, looking at half-day options, looking for ways to find other funding that from state or federal funds, and looking to partner with other organizations, maybe with corporate entities, to partner together at serving their employees' needs, childcare needs. So we've got several ways of doing that, but we're going to try to diversify what we do, so we don't have just one option for families, but we have several options that they can come in and approach childcare from whatever works best for them. Some of you know Bakerview and Camp Anderson. Those are great facilities we have. We're in the middle of looking at those facilities, and Bakerview is, we have an indoor soccer field and a basketball court, and we're looking at how do we use that to its fullest extent to serve this community. Camp Anderson, anyone know Camp Anderson? Been out there? People been out there? It's just this remarkable 40 acres out there at Lake 16. It's spectacular, and kids love it. And we've got kids camps out there 10 weeks every summer. How can we grow that and expand that? Can we do that in the summer, in the weekends as well? Can we grow it from June to maybe starting in May, and instead of ending in the end of August? Can we do some camps for kids, weekend camps for kids, through the beautiful fall weekends that we have here in Skagit? How do we grow that and make it provide opportunity for more children? That's a question that we're working on. The building partnerships I touched on. But then let me just, since we're just about out of time, let me finish with expanding Oasis's reach. Are you familiar with Oasis, the homeless, the teen homeless shelter that we have? It's critical to this community, to any community. We have a place for the vulnerable youth that exist in our midst. We've just actually been able to get the licensure to agree to us to have transitional housing for youths, 16 to 17-year-old. Right now, we have a daylight drop-in center that provides programming for at-risk kids, and they're going to come there and they're getting programming in healthy living, in resume building, and they're just getting someone to talk to and someone they can vent to. And then we also have the shelter, and the kids can come in the shelter overnight. They can come in at 6 o'clock in the evening, and they have to leave at 7 in the morning. That's the licensor's timing on that. And it's a lifesaver for many of them. But we also find that these kids, once they're getting ready to get out of school, what's next? We can't serve them after 18 years old. That's just by our license, we can't. But once they get to be 18 years old, what's next for them? And so we're thinking, what can we do more to prepare them when they're 18? And if we can provide transitional housing. So these kids, if they don't have a place, if they're couch surfing from one home to another, and then they come and spend time with us, well, maybe if they can come for their 16th and 17th years and build a home and be their transitional home and be a long-term home for them for 1 to 2 years, where they can live there, establish themselves, we can help them through this programming method of finding a good job, getting in there and learning how to work, and having a support system of people that are going to help them when they're on their own. But they have a family there at Oasis, and then when they turn 18, they're actually a little bit better prepared to move out on their own and contribute to the community that's helped them get to that point. They've had really hard lives, and so this is an opportunity to help them get on their feet before catastrophe hits. And so that's a real opportunity that we have. And we're really excited about that potential and turning our Oasis house into both a shelter and a transitional housing location. So these are some of the things we're doing, looking forward to in the days ahead at Skagit Valley Family Law. So, and of course, you're familiar with the new building. And again, thank you for all you've done to make this possible. But anything we can do at this building that meets all of those needs as well, we're here to do. So,
We got time for a couple of questions.
I've got time for a couple of questions. Yes, back here.
What did you do with the old building?
Great question. So the old building on Fulton Street, we actually had that leased to us. It was given to the Y to use under the lease arrangement as long as we ran Y programming out of that building. If we do not run Y programming out of that building, the lease said at that time, at such a time that the Y no longer runs programming there, the ownership of the building gets transferred to the school district. So the Mount Vernon School District owns that property at this point. Yeah, yes.
The Oasis program for teens, do you require they leave right at 18?
Yeah, actually, we can't serve them the day of their 18th birthday any longer by Washington State law.
So where do they go?
It's a great question. We do build partnerships with Northwest Youth Services, and they do have an 18 to 24-year-old service. There's an 18 to 24-year-old service in Everett as well. And so we build partnerships with those groups, but it's a hard transition for
How
sure.
about Job Corps? Does someone go to Job Corps?
We've done some connection with Job Corps and trying to build on that a little bit. Yeah, when the time that I was here, we had Macklin here as well, and we've talked a little bit since that point as well. So there may be some opportunities there.
Is the building for Oasis is the same one near Fulton Street still?
Yes, it is on Fifth Avenue there. Right. So the question was, is Oasis still near Fulton Street? It is. In fact, it's on Fifth Avenue, just above the downtown Mount Vernon. Yes.
I wanted to come and use the pool or any other facilities. How do you go about doing that?
Just come on by, and if you want to, first of all, we do have if it's just the pool you want to use, we have a Sedro Woolley community swim the first Saturday of every month. Come on out and use it then. There's no charge for that for you at all. Just come out on that Saturday night. The Y closes down at 5:30. We reopen again at 6 o'clock for Sedro Woolley residents to come and use the pool. So that's a great starting point. While you're there, you can say, if you want to come more often on a regular basis, you can drop in, or you can join us as a member as well to have regular access. So lots of entry points.
Just a quick one. It's been a long time for us with childcare and all of that. So what are the general costs or programs, just, snippets? I understand we don't have much time, but if parents are looking for childcare, is that a more affordable option? Is it subsidized in some way?
Right. So you have people ask at the Y, they can contact us at the Y about childcare and the programs. Certain families will qualify by their income levels for DSHS subsidies, and so we can help those folks. We also offer some scholarship through Y Scholarshiping as well for our membership program. So we have some financial assistance available that way. And we're actually right now looking at going into ECAP, and those ECAP slots that also fund low-income families as well. One of the hardest places are some of those middle-income earning families, and that is a hard thing that we as a community as a whole really need to start to address as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Here's the world famous Sedro Woolley Rotary pin, and that was for Rosemary. And unless there's anything else, we are adjourned.